Are you sitting down? Because what's about to be shared could completely transform your retirement. The Social Security Administration just announced a historic permanent increase to monthly benefits, and the new figures are in. This isn't a temporary check or a one-time boost. This is a locked-in raise that compounds for the rest of your life. We'll walk you through exactly what this means, break down the new average monthly payment, and help you understand your specific increase. We're talking about a significant bump, potentially hundreds, if not thousands of extra dollars every year. But there's more. We're uncovering hidden details you won't hear elsewhere. How will this affect Medicare premiums? What does it mean if you haven't started collecting yet? How can you ensure you're getting every penny owed? This information is absolutely crucial for anyone receiving or planning to receive Social Security. Don't miss out on what you're owed. Stay with us. This is not a temporary windfall or a political promise that disappears after the next election cycle. It is a historic, permanent increase to your Social Security benefits, fundamentally different from anything we have seen in years. For decades, we have heard about cost of living adjustments that barely made a dent in our rapidly rising expenses. Those small boosts barely kept pace with the cost of groceries, gas, and utilities, let alone the healthcare expenses that consume such a large portion of seniors' budgets. But today, what we are talking about is fundamentally different. This is a structural change, a recalculation that creates a significantly higher baseline for your benefits moving forward. It is not just about inflation adjustments anymore. It is about a much-needed recognition of the financial pressures faced by seniors and disabled individuals across the country every single day. We have spent weeks combing through official releases from the Social Security Administration, consulting financial experts, and breaking down the complex formulas so you do not have to wade through confusing bureaucratic language. Now, we are laying it all out for you in plain language. No confusing charts filled with asterisks and footnotes. No jargon that requires a law degree to understand. Just the straight facts about the new money you are going to see deposited in your bank account. This is real. It is happening now, and it is going to impact millions of Americans who have been struggling to make ends meet on fixed incomes. So, where is all of this money coming from? You might be skeptical, and honestly, you should be. We have been promised things before, only for them to fall through or turn out to be far less than advertised. Empty promises from politicians who never follow through. Adjustments that sound good on paper but evaporate when you actually look at your bank statement. But this increase is different, and here is why. It is rooted in the very formula the Social Security Administration uses to calculate your benefits. A formula that has now been permanently changed by law. As you probably know, the annual cost of living adjustment is typically based on something called the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This index measures the average change in prices for a basket of goods and services, things like food, housing, transportation, and clothing. The idea is that when prices go up, your Social Security benefits should go up too, so your purchasing power stays roughly the same. That is the theory anyway. But for years, advocates for seniors have argued that this index does not accurately reflect the spending habits of retirees. The reality is that retirees tend to spend a much larger portion of their income on healthcare, prescription drugs, and medical services. And that index simply does not account for those expenses nearly enough. This has led to years and years of adjustments that felt underwhelming because they were based on a flawed measure of your actual cost of living. While working-age people might spend more on transportation or work clothes, retirees are dealing with Medicare premiums, supplemental insurance, prescription costs that keep climbing, and out-of-pocket medical expenses that can be devastating. The old index just did not capture that reality, and as a result, Social Security recipients kept falling further and further behind. You felt it every time you went to the pharmacy or got a medical bill. The adjustments were not keeping up. But now, a new provision has been passed into law that fundamentally adjusts this formula. It incorporates a new, more heavily weighted index that focuses specifically on the expenses that disproportionately affect older Americans. Healthcare costs are weighted much more heavily. Prescription drug prices are factored in more accurately. The things you actually spend money on every month are finally being recognized in the calculation. This new calculation is now permanently baked into the Social Security framework, not as a temporary measure or a one-year experiment, but as a permanent change to how benefits are determined going forward. It is a monumental shift that acknowledges your reality. This is not a temporary stimulus that runs out after a few months. This is not a political band-aid that disappears when the news cycle moves on. This is a course correction that has been long overdue, a recognition that the previous system was failing to keep up with the economic realities seniors face every single day. For too long, the people who built this country, who paid into Social Security their entire working lives, were being shortchanged by a formula that did not reflect their actual expenses. That injustice is finally being corrected. Now let us talk numbers. This is the part you've been waiting for. What does this historic increase actually look like in real dollars and cents? Since this is a permanent recalculation based on a new formula, the impact is significant, far more substantial than the typical annual adjustments we have seen in recent years. We have crunched the numbers using the new formula, and the results are truly staggering. This is not a marginal improvement. This is a game changer for millions of retirees. For example, let us take an average retiree who was previously receiving around $1,800 per month. Under the old system, a decent cost of living adjustment might have added $50 or $60 to that monthly check. Enough to help a little bit, sure, but not exactly life-changing. Certainly not enough to keep up with rising healthcare costs or property taxes or the 100 other expenses that keep going up year after year. With the new permanent increase, that same individual is now looking at a monthly payment closer to $2,100. Let that sink in for a moment. That is an extra $300 per month. That is $3,600 more dollars in your pocket every single year. Think about what that could mean for you and your family. Maybe it is enough to cover your annual property taxes without having to dip into savings. Maybe it is a cushion for unexpected home repairs when the furnace breaks down in the middle of winter or the roof starts leaking. Maybe it is the freedom to visit your grandchildren without worrying about the cost of airfare or gas for a long road trip. Maybe it is finally being able to afford the medications your doctor has been recommending, but you have been putting off because of the cost. This increase gives you breathing room, real financial breathing room, and reduces the constant stress that so many retirees feel every single day. And frankly, that peace of mind is absolutely priceless. Let us consider another scenario to show how this works for different situations. Imagine a married couple where one spouse is receiving a spousal benefit based on the other's work record. Let us say the primary earner is getting $2,200 per month, and the spouse is receiving half of that, which gives them a total of $3,300 in combined household income from Social Security. With this permanent adjustment under the new formula, their combined income could easily surge to over $3,800 a month. That is an additional $500 every single month flowing into their household budget. For millions of couples who have been meticulously budgeting, clipping coupons, and watching every penny, this increase could be absolutely massive financial relief. It could mean the difference between just surviving and actually being able to enjoy retirement the way you deserve. It could mean being able to help a grandchild with college expenses, or finally taking that trip you have been putting off for years. It could mean not having to choose between paying the electric bill and buying groceries, a choice far too many seniors face every month. But here is the most important part, and this is what makes this different from every other adjustment you have seen before. This increase is locked in for life. The new higher amount becomes your new benefit base going forward. It is not a one-time bonus that disappears next year. So when next year's cost of living adjustment is calculated, it will be applied to this higher base amount, not the old lower one. Your benefits will not just catch up to where they should have been. They will start compounding from a much stronger position. It is a snowball effect, ensuring that your financial security grows stronger year after year, better protecting you against inflation for the rest of your life. Every future adjustment builds on this new higher foundation. This is the long-term security that the Social Security program was always intended to provide. And now it is finally becoming a reality for millions of Americans who have waited far too long for this kind of meaningful change. However, with any major change in federal benefits, there are important details and potential complications that can affect how much of this increase you actually get to keep in your pocket. One of the key factors you absolutely need to understand is how this increase will impact your Medicare premiums. Because for most people, those premiums come directly out of your Social Security check before you ever see the money. For most beneficiaries, Medicare Part B premiums are automatically deducted from their Social Security payment each month. It is convenient in some ways, but it also means that changes to either your benefits or your premiums can have a direct impact on your actual take-home amount. Now, because this increase in Social Security benefits is so significant and raises your overall income level, it could push some people into a higher income bracket for Medicare purposes. This triggers something called the Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount, or IRMAA for short. This is essentially an extra charge that higher income beneficiaries pay for their Medicare Part B and Part D coverage. The thresholds are based on your modified adjusted gross income from 2 years prior. And if you cross certain income levels, your Medicare premiums go up accordingly. It is a sliding scale, so the more income you have, the more you pay in premiums. But there is some genuinely good news here. For most people, something called the Hold Harmless provision will protect them from seeing their Social Security checks reduced by increased Medicare premiums. This rule ensures that your Social Security benefit cannot be reduced year over year because of rising Part B premiums. The government cannot take away more from your check than you are gaining from the cost of living adjustment. It is an important protection that has helped millions of seniors avoid losing ground financially. However, because the increase in benefits we are discussing today is so substantial, more people could find themselves crossing those IRMAA income thresholds for the first time, which means they could face higher Part B premiums as a result of their increased Social Security income. It is critical to understand how this adjustment works, so you are not caught off guard when you see your first check under the new formula. If you do find yourself subject to IRMAA, you should also know that if you have experienced a life-changing event, like retirement, the loss of a spouse, or a significant reduction in income, you may be able to appeal that determination. The Social Security Administration allows you to request a reconsideration if your current income is significantly lower than what is shown on your tax returns from 2 years ago. It is worth looking into if you find yourself in that situation. Another important consideration that many people overlook is taxes. Yes, unfortunately, your Social Security benefits can be taxable, and this is something that catches a lot of retirees by surprise. The Internal Revenue Service uses a formula called your combined income to determine whether your Social Security benefits will be subject to federal income tax. Your combined income includes your adjusted gross income plus any non-taxable interest, plus half of your Social Security benefits. If you file as an individual and your combined income falls between $25,000 and $34,000, you could end up paying taxes on up to 50% of your Social Security benefits. If your combined income exceeds $34,000, up to 85% of your benefits may be taxable. For couples filing jointly, the thresholds are slightly higher, but the same principle applies. Between $32,000 and $44,000 of combined income, Up to 50% of benefits are taxable. Above $44,000, up to 85% can be taxed. This is an important financial planning consideration that you need to factor into your overall retirement strategy. With this new permanent increase to your Social Security benefits, more people could find themselves paying federal income taxes on their Social Security benefits for the first time in their lives. And for those who are already paying taxes on a portion of their benefits, a larger portion may become taxable under the new higher payment amounts. It may be a very good idea to consult with a tax professional or a certified financial planner to see if it makes sense for you to have federal taxes withheld directly from your monthly Social Security benefits. This can help you avoid a nasty surprise come tax season when you suddenly owe the IRS more than you expected. You can arrange for withholding by filling out Form W-4V with the Social Security Administration. It is a simple process that can save you from a big tax bill down the road. Now, for those of you who are already receiving Social Security benefits, you are probably wondering when exactly this increase will hit your bank account. The Social Security Administration is rolling out these changes over the next few months, and a specific timing will depend on your regular payment schedule, which is typically based on your birth date. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of the month, you usually receive your payment on the second Wednesday of each month. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th, you receive payment on the third Wednesday. And if you were born between the 21st and the end of the month, you receive payment on the fourth Wednesday. The best way to check your specific payment details and see exactly when your increased benefit will arrive is to visit the official Social Security Administration website and log into your personal My Social Security account. If you have not created an account yet, you absolutely should. It gives you access to your earnings history, your estimated future benefits, and your current payment information all in one secure place. This cannot be stressed enough. Do not trust phone calls, emails, or text messages claiming to be from the Social Security Administration, especially right now when scammers are going to be looking to take advantage of this news. Scammers will be calling people, sending official-looking emails, and texting messages that appear to come from the government. They may try to convince you that you need to pay a fee to unlock your new benefit amount, or that you need to verify your Social Security number and banking information to receive the increase. This is a scam. The increase is completely automatic, and you will never ever need to pay anything to receive it. You will never need to provide your personal information over the phone or via email to get your increased benefits. The only legitimate place to get accurate information about your benefits is the official Social Security Administration website at ssa.gov, or by visiting your local Social Security office in person. For those of you on the cusp of retirement, say in your early to mid-60s, and trying to decide when to claim your benefits, this new permanent increase fundamentally changes the calculus when it comes to deciding the optimal time to start collecting Social Security. This decision has always been one of the trickiest and most consequential financial choices you will make in retirement. Claim early at age 62, and you accept a permanently reduced benefit for the rest of your life. Claim at your full retirement age, which is 67 for most people retiring now, and you get your full benefit amount. Or wait until age 70 to claim, and you receive the maximum monthly amount, thanks to delayed retirement credits that add 8% per year to your benefit for every year you wait past full retirement age. With this new permanent increase, the entire equation shifts in important ways. Claiming early at 62 could actually be more attractive than it was before, because the reduced amount you would receive is now based on a much higher starting point thanks to the new formula. That 30% reduction for claiming early still applies, but 30% of a much larger number means you are still getting significantly more than you would have under the old calculation. For people who need the income now, who have health concerns, or who simply want to start enjoying their benefits sooner, this makes early claiming more financially viable than it has been in years. On the other hand, for those who can afford to wait until age 70, your delayed retirement credits will be applied to this new, much higher benefit amount. That means the maximum monthly check you can receive by waiting is now substantially larger than it would have been under the old system. For someone in good health, with longevity in their family history, waiting until 70 could result in a truly impressive monthly payment that provides exceptional financial security for decades to come. The point is, you now have more flexibility and better options no matter when you choose to claim. And that is a powerful position to be in. Now, if you are currently receiving Social Security Disability Insurance, also known as SSDI, or Supplemental Security Income, known as SSI, this announcement is great news for you too. Disability recipients are tied to the same benefit system as retirees, so you will see the same permanent increase applied to your monthly payments. The new formula that recalculates benefits to better reflect real-world expenses applies to disability beneficiaries just as it does to retirement beneficiaries. For millions of disabled Americans who have been struggling to survive on inadequate monthly payments, this represents a significant and desperately needed boost to their financial security. For supplemental security income recipients, the situation is slightly different because SSI is a needs-based program rather than a benefit you earn through work credits. But you will still see an increase in your federal benefit rate thanks to the same political pressure and advocacy efforts that led to this broader change in the Social Security system. This is not just a policy shift that helps one group of beneficiaries while leaving others behind. It is a victory for millions of disabled Americans, a recognition that those who cannot work due to disability should not have to live in poverty, scraping by on payments that do not come close to covering basic living expenses. For those receiving both disability benefits and supplemental income at the same time, you should be aware that an increase in your Social Security disability insurance benefit could potentially reduce your SSI payment, since SSI is designed to bring your total income up to a certain level. But because the disability increase is so significant under this new formula, most people will still see a substantial net gain in their overall monthly income, even if their SSI payment adjusts downward slightly. The math works out in your favor. Finally, we need to address a crucial issue that affects every single person watching this, and that is protecting your benefits from scammers and criminals who will absolutely be targeting you in full force over the coming weeks and months. Scammers are already gearing up to exploit this news, and they will be using increasingly sophisticated tactics to try to steal your personal information, your banking details, and ultimately, your money. They might send you official-looking emails with government logos and formal language, claiming to be from the Social Security Administration. They might call you on the phone with a caller ID that appears to show a government number, telling you that you need to verify your information to unlock your new increased benefits. They might text you with urgent messages saying your benefits are being held pending verification of your Social Security number and date of birth. These are all scams, every single one of them. Remember this critical fact. The Social Security Administration will never, ever contact you out of the blue by phone, email, or text message asking you to verify personal information or pay money to receive your benefits. The increase we have been discussing today is completely automatic. It requires absolutely nothing from you. No forms to fill out, no fees to pay, no verification steps to complete. It simply happens based on the new formula, and your increased payment will show up in your bank account or mailbox on your regular payment date. Always go directly to the official Social Security Administration website by typing the address into your browser yourself. Do not click on links in emails or text messages, even if they look legitimate. Scammers are incredibly good at creating fake websites that look exactly like the real government site. And if you enter your personal information on one of those fake sites, you have just handed criminals everything they need to steal your identity and your benefits. If you receive a phone call from someone claiming to be from Social Security, hang up immediately. If you have any questions or concerns about your benefits, call the official Social Security Administration phone number that you find on their website, or visit your local Social Security office in person. This change is truly monumental, a historic shift that will improve the financial security of tens of millions of Americans for the rest of their lives. But it is also one that comes with new responsibilities on your part. You need to stay informed about how the increase affects your specific situation. You need to understand the Medicare implications, the tax consequences, and the claiming strategy adjustments that may make sense for you. You need to be vigilant against scammers who will try to exploit this moment of change and confusion to steal from you. By staying informed, asking questions, and being cautious about protecting your personal information, you can ensure that you are getting the absolute most out of your Social Security benefits and that your financial future remains secure. You have earned these benefits through decades of hard work and paying into the system. You deserve to receive every single penny you are entitled to, and you deserve to enjoy your retirement without constantly worrying about money. This permanent increase is a major step in the right direction, and now you have the knowledge you need to make the most of it and protect yourself along the way.